Welcome back to the World Revolution News. My name is Emily Pankhurst and today is October the 28th, 2011. Today we follow up on the Asian protests that we began reporting back in June. Here is Thomas Jefferson with more.
When the Occupy Wall Street demonstrations began on September 17th, it was a dream for the Communist Chinese news agenda. American capitalism, China's great rival, was in crisis and they basked in the glory of gloating. Could Occupy Wall Street be America's Arab Spring? The China Daily asked so cheerfully. Then protests came to China in the following weeks, and on Sina Weibo, which is basically Chinese Twitter, the search terms Occupy Beijing, Occupy Shanghai, Occupy Guangzhou, and so on, were blocked by the communist government. Not a complete shocker since 4 days after the Wall Street protest began, on September 21st, several hundred people protested in front of, and then attacked a Chinese Communist Party building, a police station, and an industrial park in what has become known as the Riot of Lufeng. There are usually more than 90,000 civil disturbances in China each year. This riot is notable because the town that was declared a model of harmony by the communist government. The reason behind the Lufeng protest was that corrupt officials of the Chinese Communist Party had sold land to real estate developers, without properly compensating the farmers. Conflicts between farmers and local officials have risen throughout China in the last 5 years, often because of communist land grabs. The peasants outside of Lufeng initially only had 50 people shouting slogans and protesting peacefully. Protesters lifted banners and carried signs with slogans like, "Give us back our farmland," and "Let us continue farming." Soon police arrived and started beating people and arresting 3. The next day, the police station was sieged by more than 100 villagers demanding the release of the 3 arrested, and the violence escalated. This had led to hundreds of angry villagers arming themselves makeshift weapons to take control of a local police station where 30 to 40 officials were stationed. Hundreds of well-equipped riot police were dispatched. They engaged in a standoff with the peasants. Hundreds were beat by police, with some as young as 9 years old were needing medical assistance. Internet news of the riots, including photos and videos, were quickly deleted by Chinese Communist Party censors. Shortly after that, searches for terms such as Lufeng were blocked right after the protests began. On October 15th, there was even a small but ongoing Occupy Hong Kong protest camp in front of the HSBC headquarters in that separate, yet still part, of the Chinese city's financial district. And just last week a Buddhist nun was the 10th Tibetan to set themselves on fire this year. Tenzin Wangmo, 20 years old, is said to have cried out for religious freedom and the return of the exiled Tibetan spiritual leader, the Dalai Lama, before setting herself on fire last Monday. Remember, China is the country with the second highest number of billionaires, while its per capita income still lags behind the third world nations. Vice Dean of the School of International Studies at Beijing University in China, Wang Yizhu, was recently quoted as saying that things would be very different if the protests took place in China. The government here would take powerful measures, and the financial giants would dare not to refuse change. End quote. What he forgot to mention is the fact that they are not allowed to protest in the first place. Period. You may hear some people in the Occupy Wall Street movement speak out against capitalism, and the fact that it has run itself into the ground. And while the socialism of the rich and the banking cartel is the heart of the problem, let's not be so quick to think that communism is somehow going to solve our problem of inequality. The biggest problem with people in China is the same as people around the world, that it's 99% versus 1%, and their 1% is the ruling Chinese Communist Party. They have an oligarchy as corrupt as anyone's. You can call it communism, capitalism, or whatever you like. The fact is China has a central bank, and the elite are in charge, just like the rest of us. Even the Chinese people are realizing that it's the united banking cartel versus us, not me versus you, for we are the many, and they are the few.
Have a good weekend everyone, and thanks for watching the World Revolution News. See you next Friday.